Hello, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. So this is just going to be a quick one on my way out because I'm going to sleep. So I'm watching Sweden right now, and I just wanted to talk about reincarnation. And there's a Kabbalah underpinning there about reincarnation, how we fall back through. So I want to talk about this. I want to discuss this. I want to get into how it can really underpin a Kabbalic stream, and it's already been done type thing. So really what I want to do is kind of break this down, because not a lot of people can speak about it, and if they have, I haven't come across it. So apologies if you have, and I guess everyone comes to their own conclusion, but this is just mine. I'm giving it to you from my own understandings of aspects of understanding reincarnation, what I've seen when they come back through. Right, okay, so let's get into this. So I know some. I'll give you an analogy because I know somebody who has as well, and it's interesting, and it's kind of been obfuscated. It can be an obfuscation, and the reason why I say this is because you can or may get like misinterpreted downloads, and maybe it's you just trying to work it out in a logical manner, and you might think that's a download, right? So it can work both ways. Okay, you've got to really think: am I trying to logically underpin something or understand something, or am I getting this message as specific? Is this an intuitive message? Am I getting? Because you're not. No offense or anything, but readers out there can't be 100%. You can't, because you've got to work with the other side of your brain, and if you are, then you're close. Then yeah, fair enough. Like, I'm not going to take that away from you. But I always understood that there was never a 100% certainty, and I'll get into that another time. But there just isn't 100%. There isn't 100% certainty in these downloads, these messages. It's not. And you got to think you can reach really high and really put something out there and claim something, and it might not actually be what you think it is. So you can ruin people's lives by doing this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's true. You can ruin innocence by doing this, right? So you got to be careful about what you want to project and stuff like this, because it's an assault, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's not an assault on you, but it can be an assault on the person if you've read the messages wrong. Right, so let's get into this. Let's get into incarnations and stuff like this and past lives. If you've had a past life and it weren't so good, you weren't treated very nicely. This is for innocence out here. I'm going to depict this for an innocent person, not somebody who's, bad or anything like that. I'm just going to make this simple, okay? Like I'm talking to a child. So don't be offended, right? Seriously. I'm just doing it because a child might come across it, type thing. And you might listen to it, when they're about 16, that might be able to understand it. Right, okay, so this is where you can incarnate and may have like an attachment to a past wound. This would be, for example, my Chiron wound, or it could be something else. Okay, it could be an environmental issue where people have been downloaded crap to the child as well, like, because that happens. So it could be a misinterpretation, okay, to that child, because they always say as well that it's incarnational trauma, right? For a start, it's ancestral karma or incarnational karma, and I don't think it is. I don't think it's an aspect of ancestral trauma. Okay, I don't think it is, because every single person in that family line would be experiencing the same thing, wouldn't they? And they're not. So you can't say it's ancestral. It's ancestral. Okay, it's an aspect of incarnational. So it's not about, a karmic understanding. It's really about what energy you're bringing into this lifetime with what you've understood. So you can bring in an aspect of maybe a wound where, I don't know, I'm just going to say it, you might have, done yourself in. You might have done yourself in a past life. You come back from one of them streams and you might feel guilty for that. You have this guilt inside you and you don't know why. You might not feel good. And it's because you've done yourself in a past life. And you might have to experience certain same things, because they do say you have to experience the same things over and over again until you get it. I'm not sure about that, because obviously I can't go into it that much, but just to underpin a victim and how they can feel when they come back through. They might have the same feelings and they don't even know why. And they say it's all environmental, but what if it isn't? What if there is aspects of, what happened in their past life and it comes through on this one? Because I think it does. I think it does. And I think sometimes it can be difficult as well for other people to adjust to that idea, because we take on energy as well of other people's. So, they might have been hurt, but they might have a feeling of guilt because they were hurt, or they might not remember why. And this can happen with children, like, where they say before 18 months you can't remember anything, right? So you can't remember anything for 18 months. So you might have emotions and stuff, that something bad might have happened that kept traumatise you, but you can't remember the event, right? So you might have a feeling that stays with you. Oh, I must be bad. Why? Because you got told off. Or, something like that. Or, you might have had a traumatising experience. It might have hurt you. It might have erupted a chironic wound that maybe you wouldn't have realised if it didn't. If it maybe it might have not been that traumatising. It might not have been so traumatising to you, another person, but it might be traumatising to that child, right, or that person. It may stick with them more. Like I saw this thing about an ice cream, a lady trying to give a child an ice cream. She kept pulling out the cone so that the child didn't get the ice cream and had an empty cone, and she kept doing it when he kept taking the cone. And it's almost like it can display an aspect of distrust, and it might stay with that child, or that child might forget it. And it depends on what type of energy and what frequency you're trying to be aligned to from maybe a past life experience as well, but you just can't remember it, right? So I know somebody who passed away in a past life and has come back through. I know that is the case. I see that. I know that in my heart. I know, okay? So, like, I can see other things as well. I can see certain people come through again, I'm older now, I'm 35, so you can see other people coming through on them streams. And I can tell, sometimes what type of child it might be just by seeing them, just by looking at them. Sometimes they come back through on the family line, but sometimes they don't. They sometimes don't. So, talking about incarnational trauma, it's more of a specific, you can't blame it on anybody else. You can't sit there and go, oh, it's because this happened and this happened, so it's happening to me because it's ancestral karma and that's it. Because you get people who are millionaires and no one else is a millionaire, it's just them, and the whole family. Or like, somebody might be really naughty all their life and end up in prison, in and out in prison all the time, but no one else in their family has. So it depends. And, some people can be handled as well. Some might just pick on you all your life. You might have one person in your county that might just pick on you, and they just don't leave you alone, and they just keep picking on you. And that's why you might get into trouble a lot. It's got nothing to do with incarnational trauma or ancestral trauma. It's just because somebody's victimising you in your society. So there's many connotations that can come from this. So to just to stand there and have a definite understanding that something is one way is not acceptable in a underpinning a spiritual or religious significance to a child coming through, okay? Just because you might have put two dots together doesn't mean that that's the truth, okay? It's probably bullshit, right? And I think I see where people might be going with this in society, but you just get a load of collective readings now, and like that's how spirituality is now. Like it's not even like there's no depth. Really hard to find depth. No offense, but it is. I think that's why people fall back onto religion as well. It's an aspect of faith, right? So incarnation can take place many forms, many ways, and I know that I've got children, so I know who they are, and they fell through me as well, and I held them, I carried them, I know who they are, I didn't reject them, okay? And there's a very big difference between understanding and judging, okay? That's understanding and then judging, okay? So you're in a different sphere, okay? You're in a different place. You didn't rise with me, you didn't birth that child, you didn't carry that child, so shh, right? Do you understand? Understand aspects of incarnational trauma, what type of child they might be, okay? Why? Okay? Because there's innocence, right? And if everybody could have a chance, everybody should have a chance, I guess, when it comes back through to that. But that's a different story to what I've just said, because it gives a chance for the plane to turn a new leaf, right? That concept, that analogy, turn a new leaf, so that these, depends how much destruction you've caused on the plane, but depends if anyone's willing to like pick you up and help you, type thing, under an aspect of innocence coming through. And sometimes, just won't happen because of it. But then some things are forced, which is illegal, or it's corruption or anything like that. It might be forced. So this is an aspect of victim mentality that you're enforcing on those children, for example, right? So it depends. It all works out differently, but it's not just a one reason process. And you might have got downloads that said to you, oh, this child was a bad kid, that's why it's getting punished, or this woman's a bad woman, that's why she's getting punished because of her past life. No, I don't think that's the case. I think what you got to realise is that is this download correct? What type of person is this person? Do you know anything about that person? Have you seen that person's behaviour, how they act, what they are about, things like this? No, you haven't. So how are you judging that? So just wanted to break this down: reincarnational trauma and victim, and how it can fall back from these streams. These streams are very difficult because you can bring it with you, and if something's come through you as well as a woman, it's almost like you're conjoined together for that time. So it's interesting, right? So I got downloads with mine, and it was just like feelings, not like anything else, just like a feeling, okay? So I've connected. So for example, if you've ever had children, you would have carried a child and connected to that child, and you would have been able to feel that child's feelings. And it beta tests, that's why it comes in and comes out. That's how I can tell you how, in my underpinning, what it feels like to have a child. And then it beta tests. It does. They beta test, and they come through, and then they share feelings, and then off they go, and then they come back again, and they decide whether they want to come through or not. I do think that, and there's a very significant spiritual experience that you have when you birth children. It's magic. It's magic. It's magic. and it's a beautiful experience, you know. And to be a woman, to be on this plane is a very beautiful experience, especially when we get to do things like this. You know, it's very honourable. You know, it's very, it's a blessing. It's a true blessing. And I never knew what a blessing was until that, a true blessing was, until that I experienced that, right? And, you know, for me, I love mine. And this is really important because they come through us. We accepted them. Okay? This is why as well. So an aspect of maybe a victim mentality might come through that as well. Okay? But, you know, as spiritual people out there in the world, you should be, you know, having self-autonomy, having autonomy for other people, and a level of respect and care before you just go off and start lying or making really big spiritual decisions over people's lives when all you're going to do is create an aspect of victim mentality more. And then also is that if people have been abused in their past lifetimes, they can bring that energy with them too. And you think, why are they carrying that energy? Well, might be because that person was hurt by a perpetrator and they never released that energy. They never released it. They didn't know how. So there's many connotations it can take from this. Okay? Because I understand how spirituality can be pushed onto children because it's Chiron and Pisces. Okay, so a lot of the kids got Chiron and Pisces. Spirituality can be pushed onto the children underneath these guises of, in a past life, I can see maybe in a past life, Well, it might not even be a bloody past life. It might be something in the future that takes place. It might be something that happened in the future. You know, so you can't underpin spirituality and be like, this is this, this is this, this is this. Because it's a completely different realm. It's not a logical space. Okay? And this is important. Like, really. That's why a lot of people don't know what's going on in spiritual realms these days. And that's why a lot of people don't talk about it. It's all discombobulated. It does. We think we know the answers and then does something just changes everything. You know, and it could be a program, you know, like pushing the eyes in the head type thing. And it could be one to change narrative gauge at a time. If they can do it in the media, they can do it there, they can do it there as well. We have to get with it. Anyway, I'm done. This is reincarnational trauma, victim mentality. Now we can come back through and relive these experiences. And Sweden's beautiful. Good night.